Have you ever walked down a path you shouldn't have? One that feels off? One that seems like it's been forgotten by time, untouched, but not untouched by something else. Tonight, I want to tell you the story of a place that was once forgotten until it wasn't. It all started with a rumor, a local legend passed down for generations. They say deep in the woods, hidden by trees and time, there's an ancient shrine, forgotten by most, but not by those who shouldn't have forgotten it. The shrine is old, very old. Its stones are cracked and worn. You won't find it on any map. It wasn't meant to be found. A couple of friends, just like any of us, decided they'd go looking for it. They were curious. They laughed it off. Just a story, they said. There's nothing out there. But as they walked deeper into the forest, something began to change. The air grew still, too still. No birds, no rustling leaves, not a single creature in sight. It felt wrong, like they were being watched. One of them, Sarah, noticed something strange. At first, it was just a flicker in her peripheral vision. A figure, thin, pale, with no face. She stopped in her tracks. But when she turned, nothing was there. She brushed it off, but the hairs on the back of her neck stood up. But then, things started happening. The wind picked up. The leaves began to swirl around them. And with each gust of wind, they thought they heard whispers. Voices, faint and distant like a chant. The sound grew louder, more urgent. The closer they got to the shrine, the more real it became. It was too late. They had already crossed the line. There it was, the forgotten shrine, hidden by centuries of decay. At first glance, it seemed harmless, just another abandoned relic of the past. But the air around it was thick, oppressive. You could feel it in your chest. Sarah and the others hesitated. Something was off. But curiosity drove them forward. They stepped closer, their footsteps echoing in the quiet, their breaths heavy. And that's when they saw it, the first warning. A sudden burst of thunder shook the forest, the sky cracked open, and the wind screamed as if it was trying to warn them. But they didn't listen. They didn't leave. They just kept moving forward. As they circled the shrine, they noticed something strange. A stone slab, different from the others. It was smooth, almost unnaturally smooth. The symbols on it were fresh, almost as if they had been carved only yesterday. The group gathered around it, unsure what to do next. But then Sarah spoke up, her voice trembling. "Look, there's something on the other side." That was the moment they made the mistake. The figurine wasn't just a relic. It was a key to something that was never meant to be awakened. As Sarah lifted the figure, the ground trembled. The air grew colder. The shadows in the woods stretched unnaturally long, crawling like fingers. And then, everything stopped. But the silence was worse than the noise. In that silence, they heard it. A soft, raspy breath. Right behind them. That thing, the one without a face. It wasn't just following them. It had been there all along, watching, waiting. Suddenly the ground cracked open. The earth split, revealing a dark abyss beneath their feet. Screams echoed from the darkness. Voices trapped, pleading for release. The shadows rose, swirling like smoke, and the whispers from the shrine became screams. They tried to run, but the woods were different now. The trees twisted, their branches like claws reaching for them. The sky was black. The ground seemed to fold beneath them. It was as if the very world was swallowing them whole. Only Sarah made it out, barely. She stumbled back into town, her clothes torn, her eyes wide with terror. She never spoke about what happened again. But sometimes, just sometimes, if you listen closely, you can hear her whispering that the thing in the woods, it's still waiting. So, if you ever hear the legend of the forgotten shrine, don't go looking for it. And definitely don't go alone. Trust me, you don't want to be the one who finds it.